Good evening. We start here tonight. The Competition Tribunal has been holding a hearing on Takatso's 51% proposed merger with SAA. Now, this is one of the major final hurdles that this merger has to go through before it is actually signed into paper. However, the South African Cabin Crew Association, as well as the ousted Director General at the Department of Public Enterprises Kgathatso Tlhakudi, have raised concerns about the nature of the merger deal during the hearings. Ntokozo Khumalo has more on this and spoke to the suspended DG Tlhakudi.
You did speak today during these hearings at the Competition Tribunal, just highlighting that you see some or share some concerns over this merger deal. Could you talk us through that?
No, thank you very much for inviting me to speak to you. Obviously, the foremost one has been how Takatso was chosen. A process that is illegal, that really is corrupt, was allowed to unfold, overseen by the minister. And a process that would have been fair, transparent, and obviously competitive was abandoned by the minister. And that's the first concern that I've raised. And I've said to the tribunal, it's important that they appraise themselves with that process. It's important that also give space to other authorities, including Parliament, as well as the SIU, to also provide their opinions in terms of what has happened there. We cannot allow this transaction to continue as per how Takatso has come into being. Secondly, the issue of valuation. We have been told that the Takatso will be paying 3 billion rands and 51 rands for this entity. I've contended that the 3 billion rands may not be realized because it's not cash that's going to be available from day one of conclusion of this transaction. It is said that this 3 billion rands will be through a preference share scheme. Now, what happens if the airline does not declare dividends? Then how is the government going to be compensated for that 3 billion rands of assets that have gone into what will be a new airline owned by Takatso? I've also raised issues in relation to that, to how that 3 billion rands of asset valuation was arrived at. And I'm saying there was a deliberate intention to undervalue the assets of SAA. And that undervaluation, I've estimated it to be anywhere between 7 billion rands and 15 billion rands.
And some of the other issues that were brought in by the union, the SA Cabin Crew Association, includes issues around the nature of the deal, saying that what was originally put on the table has now changed, and also the issue of jobs, of those that have lost jobs during the business rescue. And if we do see this partnership go ahead or this merger go ahead, will those jobs be reinstated? Do you sing the same tune as them when it comes to those two issues?
Absolutely. I think on the first point, when they are saying the acquiring entity has changed materially, it's a fair point. What you had Harith with Global and Seranex, and the last two entities were supposed to provide technical expertise to this Takatso. Now those entities are being said that they will be stepping away. Now it begs the question, if you had had a proper process run in terms of the laws of this country, in terms of the requirements of Section 207 and 217 of the Constitution, what would it have required is that that process goes back to the adjudicating committee in the department, and we'll be saying the entity now, the constituent has changed so substantively. Is this still a preferred SEP in terms of the points that would have been allocated here? Because there was no process followed, you can't go back. So what we have here, we have a minister and a department that wants to ram through this transaction despite the very apparent illegalities.
Now I have to ask, you were part of this process as DG when this merger or the scouting for potential strategic partners started. What is it that happened, in your own words, for you to end up in suspension? And as you said that earlier on, it's only the president that can fire you. Could you talk us through that?
Well, you know, when first I was informed by the minister that I have to go sit at home while I'm being investigated. I mean, I had to ask myself, what is it that I have done wrong? I was told about a whistleblower, about an appointment that did not happen in the department. And of course, I've been a manager for more than 25 years. These issues are not the kind of issues that will remove a head of an organization over. If indeed the allegations that the minister has leveled against me are correct, I said through what was a kangaroo court, and my lawyers are going to deal with that going forward.
Thank you so much for your time. Of course, that was Kgathatso Tlhakudi, who says he is still the Director General at the Department of Public Enterprises, just talking us through where he sees holes in this merger deal between SAA and, of course, the Takatso consortium, just running through the issues that he highlights as problems. Of course, he was part of that initial discussions of a deal taking place. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Pretoria.